Crack open a can of summer.
This is RSN, Rangers Sports Network, presented by Progressive. It is baseball time in Texas.
Oh my goodness, what a grab! Back to the wall! And the Rangers win it! Oh man, a Saturday out on the beach in Southern California where Rangers baseball is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Should be a nice crowd tonight here at the Big A in Anaheim. Rangers and Angels, game 2 of our 3-game series. All right, welcome in everybody. Great to have you along with us tonight. I'm Dave Raymond alongside David Murphy, and the Rangers hoping to draw even in this series with a win tonight, and they're going to need another good performance. I feel like we say this every 5 days from Big Game Nate.
Big Game Nate is the guy to go to, and in our The Home Depot, working on a win. Nathan Eovaldi is always working on a win. His last three starts, have been great. 3-0, 22 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, 23 strikeouts. He has not allowed a run in his last 9 1/3 innings pitched. He is the guy to go to if you need a win. He's going to go get one for the Rangers tonight.
Boy, has he been good lately. Rangers will lean on him, and hopefully the bats as well. Big game tonight. Rangers and Angels will have the starting lineups. The first pitch when we come back. Rangers baseball on RSN is presented by Progressive Insurance. Step up to the plate for savings. Visit progressive.com. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers.
Chance to win an MLB All-Star experience.
Okay, as we get ready to go here today, a little reminder this season you get a Baja for a blast when a Rangers home run clears 420 feet. You can score a free 20-ounce Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Register now at BajaBlastHomeRuns.com to unlock the offer. We're hoping for one of those, maybe even in this first inning for the Rangers. In fact, how about a look at the Trajan Wealth lineup for the Rangers? 24 wins, 26 losses. Jock Peterson leading it off in DHing. Brandon Nimmo in right, Josh Young at third base, bats third. Then it's Osuna, Berger, Carter in the middle. Duran at short, Foscue at second base. Higgy doing the catching today, will bat ninth.
And that lineup will go to work against Angels starter Walbert Urania. Urena's been pretty good this year. 8 games for him, 6 starts, 33 1/3 innings overall, 2.70 ERA. League's hitting 210 against him. There's the arsenal. Changeup 35% of the time. You see 41 the last 4 starts. He has the highest changeup usage in the major leagues. He also has a 2-seamer, 4-seamer, and a sweeper.
And there's a reason that he uses that changeup a lot. It is a really good pitch for a guy who can throw it up over 100 miles per hour with the fastball. It's the change of pace, and it's as deadly as anything. And he goes to work here with a fastball at 98 miles per hour, but he misses low with it for ball 1. Peterson leading it off. Jock had a double yesterday and is having a really nice road trip. And he'll take a strike. Back-to-back fastballs from Urania, and one would pretty much expect a changeup at this point. Young right-hander, 22 years old, and he is up high, but it was another fastball. And it is 2-1. Listed at 6'1", 215. Urania's 2-1 pitch, and that is off the plate. And this is the one thing that has been an issue in his development, and the type of thing that they're watching closely at the big league level is command. Walks can hamper his progress. 19 walks and 33 innings coming in. Jock doing the little league bunt thing at 3-1. Seeing if he can just be a distraction there. Never had an intent of swinging, and so it's a full count.
Went to that changeup, 3-1. And if you're wondering why he throws the changeup so much when he throws the sinker at 98, the sinker's been blasted 394 with a 545 slugging percentage against.
3-2 pitch, bounced down to first base. It was a changeup, and Urania gets the putout, the 3-1 putout to start the game.
We'll set the defense for the Angels. It'll be Trout in center, Meckler in left, and Adele in right. Neto up the middle with Peraza in the infield. Walton at third, Shawnuel at first. Sebastian Rivero will get the catching duties tonight after Logan O'Hoppe was back there last night. He was shaken up on a play behind the plate, so that could be why O'Hoppe's getting the day off.
So 1 out. Here is Brandon Nimmo. And Brandon takes a fastball for a strike. Nimmo, .277 average with 6 home runs, including a home run last night, a 2-for-5 night. And a double to go with the homer yesterday. And they'll watch it low. 1-1. Been a good road trip for Nimmo. 2 home runs in the last 3 games, after going a 25-game stretch without a home run. And he takes a strike. 1-2 the count. Urania, who really likes his changeup, has gone with the fastball a lot here in these first 2 hitters. And it has been a really good month for Urania. 1.64 ERA so far in the month of May. And that one is hit high in the air center field. Takes Trout back there. He's reaching for the wall, but he's shy of it as he makes the catch. And there are 2 gone. So that'll bring up Josh Young. Let's see what Young has been doing lately, and it has been really consistent for Josh. Average at .306 for the year. And he takes on the inside corner. Batting third tonight, and he'll swing and miss. There's that sweeper as well. And he does have the full complement of pitches, and while the sweeper might not be the most popular one for him, it is pretty good. He's had good results with it.
It's just good to have another look for these hitters. When you throw a sinker and a changeup, it is a very similar look with both of those. You've got to have something that can move away from the right-handed hitters.
Buries one there. 1-2 the count. So just underway here tonight. Yesterday, the Angels took the opener by a score of 9-6. Ball game, they led 6-0, and the Rangers came back, but fell short late as Young swing and a miss finishes a tidy first inning for Urania. So he's perfect in his half of the first. Rangers need a good start, and they're going to get one tonight from big game Nate Eovaldi.
A burger. Come one, come y'all.
Rangers pretty quiet there in their top of the first inning, and so now the Angels coming to bat, and we're excited to see Nathan Eovaldi out of the mound.
Yeah, he is your Sewell starting pitcher tonight. Trending in the right direction recently. 54 2/3. League's hitting .243 against him, limiting those free passes, just 12 walks. He's 39% splitter, 22% cutter, 20% curve. He'll mix in those 4-seam and 2-seam fastballs.
All right, well, let's take a look at the lineup he'll see tonight from the Angels. Free swinging Zach Neto leading it off at shortstop. Then it's Mike Trout in center field and Nolan Shawnuel at first. Soler DH is Adele in right. Wade Meckler, his second game of the year, he'll be in left field. Then it's Peraza, Rivero, and Donovan Walton rounding it out. Angels scored 9 runs yesterday. Neto homered on the first pitch of the game from Jacob deGrom. And that was the 4th time this year that the opposing team has hit the first Rangers pitch of the night into the seats. 4. We're not talking about a leadoff home run. We're talking the first pitch of the game.
I feel like that's hard to do.
Yeah, and Evo goes right after Neto. Popped that one foul out of play.
He wasn't going to mess around with the 4-seamer or the 2-seamer. He went right to the cutter.
Zach Neto, 10 home runs for the season. He's got a little pop in that bat. Man, that one crowds him. Pretty good leadoff hitter, very good shortstop. And as the career of Mike Trout is on its back end, it seems like we're on the front end of this guy emerging as one of the real good young and dynamic players. Not here for the Angels. He's in a hole 1 and 2. Strikeouts have been a problem. He leads the American League, 73 strikeouts already. And he takes outside. 73 strikeouts at this point of the year. I mean, you just want to play that game where he's on pace for kind of thing. I mean, it is a very large number. 2-2, and that just misses.
Especially for your leadoff man. Like that's the guy that you might get to 2 strikes and see a bunch of pitches, but you foul stuff off and just put the ball in play. That's abnormal.
Eovaldi upset with himself as he yanked that one off the plate. He got ahead of Neto, but loses him the leadoff walk.
Rangers defense tonight brought to you by Defender. It'll be Osuna, Carter, and Nimmo left to right in the outfield. Josh Young, Ezekiel Duran, Justin Foscue, and Jake Berger will make up your infield. Kyle Higashioka will do the catching for Nathan Eovaldi.
Well, they'll have to be paying attention to Neto now. He's at first. And Trout goes after the first pitch. Hammers out to center field. Carter is back, and that one is gone. Man, oh man. Home runs continue to be an Achilles heel for these Rangers starters. That's the 11th of the year allowed by Eovaldi. More first inning runs.
Look where the pitch is. 92 right down the middle. You're dealing with a very good hitter at the plate in Mike Trout. You try to keep him off balance. He's doing what we've seen him do so many times throughout the years.
So 2-0 Angels right out of the gate. And Shanoel takes a curveball for a strike. Shanoel, left-handed hitter. The start at first base, batting third, .255 hitter. And that is rolled up the middle. Duran is there. And Shanoel retired easily, 1 away. Well, you say, we've seen it a lot over the years. Mike Trout, 47 career home runs against the Rangers. Reggie Jackson finished his career with 54 against the Rangers. Armin Killebrew, 48. Trout up there with some big time names, and yeah, Rangers fans know he has been a tough one. As Soler takes strike 1. Eovaldi gives Soler a fastball, and that one's hit in the air to center. Carter wandering around out there, makes the catch, and that's the second out of the inning. So it's 2 outs in the inning for Eovaldi. That gets him to an even 500 innings now as a Ranger. It's kind of hard to believe that's happened quickly. Postseason hero went 5-0 on the way to that 2023 World Series title. including that dazzling performance and clinching Game 5, and he fires that one in to Joe Adell. 500 career innings already with the Rangers. One of the more beloved guys in the game around the league finds the corner. All the teams for whom he has pitched, and a lot of times even teams against whom he has pitched. He's just so well respected. And that is down low. Only now in his 15th year in the big leagues. The only team for whom he has pitched more seasons, the Boston Red Sox, parts of 5 seasons. A swing and a miss. He strikes out Adell. His first strikeout of the night, but he gave up the home run to Mike Trout. Angels have the early 2-0 lead here tonight.
This is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Well, yesterday we gave you the good news that Corey Seager worked out on the field here in Angel Stadium, but today Skip Schumacher told us that he hadn't recovered the way that they had hoped. They had originally thought he was going to face live pitching tomorrow, but that date has now been postponed. They're still trying to figure out next steps for Corey, and every rehab process doesn't go exactly according to plan, but this definitely isn't the news that you wanted to get from Corey today.
I think backs, obliques, anything core related, those are all tricky, and those are things that you cannot come back from those if you're not 100%. So make sure he's right, get him back in that lineup. He'll be good to go.
Also, yeah, you really can't fake it, right?
No.
Try and fool a manager or a coaching staff and no, I'm all right, it's fine. It's not, and it's obvious to people when it isn't, and so they got to make sure that gets healed. They'll need him to be back, and when he's back at full strength and be good, that's what they need. So anyway, hopefully they can get that figured out soon as Urania goes to work now with a 2-0 lead in this second inning. They'll see Osuna, Berger, and Carter. And the righties 2-1, a little chopper up over the middle, backed up by Neto back there, and his throw goes wide and off the facing of the Rangers dugout. Really good job too by Walton back there to scramble around and gather that one up.
Well, good placement right here, right between the two infielders. Neto does what he can, and it's a good athletic play with a quick release, just not on the money.
Maybe shouldn't have thrown that one. Rivero, by the way, backing it up, the catcher, not Walton. So Osuna is on. Berger, the hitter, and he'll take one way upstairs for ball 1. So it was 2 runs in the first inning for the Angels. That means the Rangers have now been outscored in the first inning, 41-17 this year. Stunning number. And Urania is down in the dirt. It's 2-0. So they will find themselves today in familiar territory, and that is trailing, not just early, trailing immediately in the ball game. And they were yesterday. They were down 6-0, but chipped away to get back in it. That one's off the plate, 3-0 from Urania.
I think it's so tricky too, because and it seems so easy, but the Rangers are 18-3 when they score first, which just hasn't happened very much because they score first. They're 25th in baseball when it comes to scoring first.
That's high, ball 4. So an infield hit and a walk, and the Rangers have a couple of men on in the second. Yeah, it seems like a really simple equation. You sell out just to get that first run of the game when you're 18-3, scoring the first run of a contest. That seems like a really good plan. But so often it's worked the other way. Here's Evan Carter, left-handed hitter against the righty Urania, and that is a strike. Fastball in there, 97. Carter had a triple yesterday, drove in a couple of runs, and that was only his second hit of this road trip. 2 for 19 on the trip. And it's quickly 0-2.
This is where it can be a tricky at bat for a lefty. You have first and second, so ideally you'd like something on the right side of the field, but a guy with a good changeup, you need to still see that pitch deep in the strike zone, especially now with 2 strikes.
0-2. A little number foul. Stays 0-2. Well, Carter, I don't know, Murph, if this is a thing. I think it kind of is. He likes hitting here. He has great numbers here. Now it's only 7 starts, but he's hit safely in 6 of those 7 starts, and he's driven the ball here. 0-2. And that is up high. Remember, Nomar Mazara seemed to have a thing about this ballpark, but there are places where you just feel comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place that you recall feeling really good?
I liked the American League East. Baltimore, Boston, Yankee Stadium.
Bouncer down to first base. Shonowell will go to second to get the 1 out. That's all they get. So Carter gets Osuna to third base and replaces Berger at first on the fielder's choice. Goes 3 to 6. And there's 1 out. All right, so the East, Baltimore. A lot of guys, I think, over the years have mentioned Baltimore as a place they like.
I mean, Yankee Stadium's the easy one. You know, just the short porch in right field. Boston, it's big down the line in right, or just to right field in general, but you've got the monster, so you can hit doubles off of that as a lefty to the opposite field. Toronto was a good one too. Yeah, for playing so many years in the American League West, I didn't really like the American League West ballparks.
Was that right?
Well, and maybe
Seattle was no fun, right?
Seattle was not fun. You had to go up against King Felix, and you had to go up against
cold weather.
Yeah,
big yard.
Always cold, so that was not an ideal place. I feel like when we came here, we drew Jared Weaver every single time, and he had my number throughout the years. And he was, as good as he was against us, he was lights out here.
Quick throw over there to first, and Carter scrambles back.
And then you consider Oakland was about the biggest ballpark in the world, so not a great place to hit. You think about all the ballparks in the West. You have to deal with the marine layer. It's a little chillier. I mean, it's nice here during the day. Obviously, during batting practice, you're going to see mid to upper 80s, and then it'll cool off at night. Houston, once they got added to the division, it was funny because you always think it's called the juice box. You're like, well, it's, you know, you've got the Crawford boxes. It's a small ballpark. The more you play there, you're like, man, this is kind of a pitcher's park.
Interesting.
At least to the middle of the field, right?
For sure. Duran waiting on an 0-2. And to Urania. Oh, runner going, and Carter won't even draw a throw. Evan Carter with his 7th stolen base. Picked a great time right there. Caught everybody sleeping.
Well, he did his job getting Osuna from second to third with 1 out, and now he steals second. So the Rangers are in a great position to at least score a run. They'll score 2 on a hit with one of their hottest hitters up.
So the 1-2, and Zeke shoots that out toward right center field. Long run for Trout. He does get to it. Both runners tag. Osuna scores. Carter goes to third. The sac fly by Duran gets the Rangers started. It's 2-1.
The Rangers prevent the shutdown inning from Urania. Great at bat from Zeke. Doesn't try to do very much. Easy way for both these base runners to move up. How about Osuna in the 4-hole tonight? I like it. He doesn't have a homer, so it's not like he's slugging like crazy, but you give him an opportunity in the 4-hole, assuming that you might have a chance to go 3 up, 3 down, which the Rangers did in the first. You've got a guy with some good bat control that's been hot lately, and sure enough, he leads it off with a single, comes around to score.
And this has been a small ball kind of inning. Foscue, a chance to drive in the tying run here. Fouls that back right next to us. Looks like everybody's doing all right. Man.
Coming in hot.
That's dicey. That was muy caliente. Oh, 2. Foscue fights that one off. You said about Osuna, one of their, Duran mentioned as the hottest hitter. Foscue might have a little something to say about that.
I said one of the hottest.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a good hedge. Because Foscue, 2 for 3 again yesterday, was also hit by a pitch. He's hitting .423 on this road trip with a home run and 3 doubles. And he lifts that one into right field. Adele coming in and makes the catch. The inning is over, but the Rangers get a run back. And Ezekiel Duran once again finding a way to help this team with his bat. A sacrifice fly, and it's a 2-1 game.
DXU Energy. Energy for everything.
Well, what a road trip it has been from Brandon Nimmo. 2 home runs the last 4 games, but it's been the defense that has stolen the spotlight as we take a look at our Coors Bank Start Your Legacy. You just saw him steal that home run off of Yordan Alvarez, and then last night he did it again to Joe Adele. He also made some friends when he gave those fans in Houston a signed baseball, but Skip said after the game last night that the loss stunk because it really overshadowed what was an outstanding performance from Nimmo, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, this guy can play. His at-bats last night were tremendous. You bring in a tough lefty. Didn't really matter. Something I haven't talked about very much with you about him. Like, he's got a pretty swing. Like, he just seems like he's always locked in. He's using the middle of the field. That bat stays in the strike zone for a really long time, and as the highlights just showed us, like, he comes to work and play on defense also.
Even just right there, that last little shot, you can see the eyes working around the diamond, paying attention to every little detail. He's a meticulous prep guy. A little bouncer down the first, and the tag gets Meckler. He was doing everything he could to try and get around that there, but fortunately Berger hustled in to get the ball. Yeah, I think a lot of people were looking at that initially off the bat like, well, that's going to go foul, and then all of a sudden everybody's scrambling.
I think big leaguers do a really good job of making plays like this look easy. At lower levels, it's just kind of a mess. Usually you're used to seeing a baseball like that trail off, end up in foul territory, but great job by Berger of coming to charge it.
Well, you know how he tagged him hard enough that one of the lenses came out of the glasses. Peraza now, 277 hitter, and takes a little bit low.
I'll tell you what, man, Meckler's a blue-collar guy. Like, he plays hard.
We had that talk on the last homestand, right? We were talking about guys who you just loved the way they played the game. Forget the numbers, but there's certain guys that just inspire teammates and change the temperature of a ball game. And he seems to be. I mean, we've only seen him for what, 11 innings now, but he seems to be one of those guys. He's got a real good motor, as they say. Evo's 2-0. There's a swing and a miss.
And I was going to circle back to that when we were talking about Evo getting to 500, because he is just, he doesn't have necessarily the stuff of DeGrom, although it's not like it's too much less. But you consider some of the best stuff in baseball. At one time, his fastball was up there around 100. I think I even read something the other day. He threw like for starting pitchers, I think he has one of the 5 fastest fastballs in the StatCast era. It's like 102. It was like 10 years ago, right? Which was really impressive. You consider the likes of Jacob Mizorowski today. I think it was Ventura, the fireballer for the Royals, who started games about 10 years ago. And then it's Big Game Nate.
He loses Peraza here. Ball 4, so the base runner for the Angels. Second walk allowed by Eovaldi. And here comes Sebastian Rivero. Yeah, I think you can forget a little bit how just big a power pitcher he was when he broke in, Eovaldi. And he still brings some pretty good velocity. He's just added so many additional weapons. And at this point in his career, he's known for that splitter.
And that's the game changer. It's the best split finger in baseball by the numbers. If you look at pitching run value.
Foul off the foot of Rivero.
But I think the great thing about the splitter for him, which I feel like it wasn't the case back in the day, for guys that threw that pitch, it was the put away pitch when you got to 2 strikes, right? But the fact that he can locate it, he can throw it at any point in any count, it makes it such a valuable pitch because it's hard for hitters to be able to stay on that and track his other stuff.
A little high here, 1-2 on Rivero. A 2-run homer in the first by Trout. Rangers came back with a sac fly in the top of the second inning. The 1-2 pitch, and that's a beauty of curveball. Strike 3 called. Rivero is the second strikeout victim of the night.
Just when you think you might get the splitter, then you get the wrinkle of a breaking ball. 78 miles an hour. It's closer toward the middle of the plate. Rivero just did not pick up the spin.
So now Donovan Walton, and he gets a curveball to start. That's a strike. Walton was 0 for 3 yesterday with a walk. As you look at his AAA numbers. He gets another curve, but that one misses. Eovaldi hides nothing when he's out there. You know how he feels about each pitch. 1-1. Swing and a miss. There is that splitter.
He hides nothing except for all of his pitches.
Yeah. In fact, you see those blue long sleeves under his uniform, and it doesn't matter where we are. It could be 100 degrees in Baltimore, and he has those long sleeves on. And part of that, well, it's exclusively really for hiding what pitch might be coming, because he knows that guys will even cue off just your musculature and your tendons and ligaments and how they might be moving or situated on your forearms. Hitters are vicious animals. They're looking for any weakness, and Evo is not going to give it to you. I almost love that. You can call it paranoia on his part. 2-2. Little roller right side. Foscue right there, as if he knew that's where that ground ball was going to be hit. Retires Walton, and we will head to the third inning. Well, Eovaldi has got the strikeout working. Got Rivero on that big curveball, his second strikeout of the night.
And you can save hundreds. Put it on my tab. I'll show myself out.
Time now for our Chalk Talk Casinos and Resorts game within the game. Rangers hitters hitting the ball hard this year. 42.5% hard hit rate. That's third best in baseball. Walbert Urania, 29.5% opponent hard hit rate. That's third lowest in baseball. So something's got to give tonight. Well, the Rangers continue to have a disciplined approach off a guy that throws in the upper 90s with a really good changeup and continue to barrel some balls, or will Urena and his stuff just continue to live off of barrels?
There goes one ball, no strikes on Higgy. Higgy, 211 hitter. How about that note there at the bottom? Just a moment ago, of the 11 home runs that Higgy hit last year, nearly half of them, 5 of them, were at the hands of these Angels. 1-1. Talking about maybe a ballpark that suits a guy. Maybe that's part of it for Higgy.
Or just an opposing uniform.
And that's another thing.
Gives you comfort, home or away.
Outside. I mean, let's face it, the opposite of that has been Jacob deGrom and the Angels. How or why in the world it is that the Angels seem to have comfort against deGrom, it's hard to explain. 3-1, and that's high, ball 4, and Higgy takes the leadoff walk. Baseball's a funny game. So that's a second walk that Urena has gifted the Rangers, and now the lineup turns over for Jock Peterson. Jock grounded out in the first inning. And he shoots that one out into left field. That's a base hit. That ball struck well by Jock, and the Rangers had the first 2 men on.
Giving the Angels a taste of their own medicine. That's what the Angels did all night last night. First 2 base runners of an inning on, tons of traffic out there. Just a really good approach. I talked about it in Carter's at bat. When you have a guy with a really good changeup, you don't want to get beat out front. So you're seeing the ball deep in the strike zone, setting the table for a guy who, I guess we've talked about a lot of these Rangers hitters who have been hot. Osuna, Zeke, Foscue. This is the right man, the right spot.
Started the year really hot for this team. And, you know, hit a slower patch, but has recently seemingly flipped the switch back on. And you see the numbers for him, they get better in these run scoring opportunities. That is off the plate, 1-1. So, you know, his season average came in 277, but his average with runners in scoring position up over 300. Now, I feel like a lot of times that's sort of the way it should be, right?
I think it should be for sure.
That was a swing and a high pop up into center. Trout covering some ground to get there. He makes the catch. And that is the first out of the inning. But it stands to reason what? You get better pitchers, they just don't have any wiggle room in terms of nibbling on the corners and that kind of thing. So they're probably going to come over the plate.
Well, it's hard too because they're definitely going to buckle down. You're going to see, for instance, last night, deGrom, the four-seamer hasn't fared well recently. The slider's been good. So you assume you get runners in scoring position, you're going to see a ton of sliders. And last night he entered the game with a 108 batting average against on that pitch and had not given up an extra base hit. I don't believe he gave up an extra base hit on it last night. Urena is a guy, you feel like he's going to throw a ton of changeups here. He goes with the sinker first pitch with a runner in scoring position. But I think Mike Trout came up last night, and I was surprised to see he had like a 170-ish batting average with runners in scoring position. And, you know, and that's significantly lower than his season batting average right now. You would think that the good ones, they buckle down in the same way the pitchers do, and it's just a great battle. But if his guy, well, league average is what, about 240, 245. So we'll take a league average hitter. You would think that he's hitting what, 50 points higher with runners in scoring position.
2 the count.
big part of it's probably chase also, because that's what pitchers are trying to get you to do. If you don't chase, you're going to get a good pitch to hit.
Well, Young with 2 strikes in the count, this is where he really has seemed to be his best. And he lines that one softly to shortstop. Good job by Higashioka to get back there and avoid a double play. Young just missed giving that into the outfield.
It's almost like when he gets to 2 strikes, you're guaranteed to see hard contact. He has found what he's looking for in 2-strike counts.
Okay, well, 2 away now, and so it's going to be up to Alejandro Osuna if the Rangers are going to get anything out of this good start to the inning. But here he is batting cleanup. We've discussed that just a little bit. Part of Skip Schumacher's comments today before the game is like he likes him at the plate with runners on. I thought that's what he'd get with him in the cleanup spot. That he's a pesky hitter. And so here it is, 3rd inning. The tying run at second. Another runner at first base. And he knows he's going to get a really competitive at bat from Osuna. And he swings and misses at the changeup. Alejandro yesterday 2 for 4 with a double. The lefties, they get a lot of changeups from this guy. And there was another one, so 2 of them to start this at bat. Well, he's almost 50% changeups to left-handed hitters. I think it's like 45% to lefties. But he's tried it twice here. And that one lined into left field, a base hit. Higashioka to third. They'll stop him. So the bases are loaded, and Osuna does exactly what Skip Schumacher thought he might do in those spots. He comes up with his 2nd hit of the night, and they're loaded.
It's a professional, veteran type of at-bat for a young player right here. The bad part about it is he hit it so hard that Higashioka, who is not the quickest runner, not able to come around to score.
So Mike Maddox out there to have a word with him. 22 years old, Urania. And he's going to face Jake Berger with the bases loaded. There, Justin Veely going over in detail with Jake Berger what they might expect. We'll say against right-handed hitters, Urania's more likely to deliver any of the 4 pitches. I mean, you don't really know. He's pretty even in that regard. Lefties, I don't want to say you can sit on a changeup, but you can expect one. That may not be the case with the righties. Well, here we go. Berger, he walked last time up, and Urania steps off, so there's one disengagement. And Berger takes strike 1. The fastball there at 98. Well, Jake is one of the best run producers, not just on this team, but in the American League. 33 RBIs coming into tonight. It's 4th most in the junior circuit. He's in a hold though, 0-2. Got the change up there. It's always about the big hit with the Rangers. Can they cash in even just 1 or 2 of the base runners? Higgy at third, Jock at second, Osuna the runner at first. And Berger in protect mode now. Here it is. And he strikes out swinging. Urania got him on the changeup. And the Rangers leave the bases loaded in the 3rd. I hope we don't come back talking about that later on tonight. 2-1, Angels on top.
StatCast powered by Google Cloud is going to show you just how good Nathan Eovaldi's splitter has been the last 3 starts. He's used it 40% of the time. He's getting whiffs 41% of the time, and he is getting chase over half the time. 13 strikeouts on that pitch. As we were talking about, he can throw it anywhere. He throws it in any count. Obviously, it's at its best when it's down in the strike zone. That's when it dives under barrels, but he's been really good, and that is the go-to pitch for him. That is the foundation where he gets guys off of his curveball, he gets guys off of his fastball, mixes in a cutter also, but his stuff is so good, and he just still continues to grind later into his career.
Well, his last start was such a great one at Houston. 7 shutout innings against the Astros, had 8 strikeouts, tying a season high when the Rangers really needed him on that Sunday afternoon to avoid a sweep. And they need him here tonight as they'll get the top of the order again. Zach Neto takes strike 1 on the splitter. Neto walked in the first and scored on the Trout home run. Average at .221 to start the year, and he shoots out the other way foul. 0-2. On base average okay. Better than league average. And getting on more than 1/3 of the time, which is what you want out of that leadoff guy. He's got a little speed. But Eovaldi had 0-2, looking for his 3rd strikeout. And that's bounced foul. Well, we say a lot of times with Eovaldi, big game Nate. Rangers need him to turn in one of those big performances. And tonight you'd say the same thing. 0-2. Bouncer, third base, diving stop Young, and they'll have no throw. Neto is aboard with scored an infield hit.
Well, this ball, while it's not crushed, is hit hard enough that makes Young dive down the line. Neto's got enough speed, even if Young comes up with that and gets a throw off. Don't know if he gets him.
Yeah, I don't think so. Slowly developing enough that probably beats it out, but he's on for Mike Trout. Trout had the 2-run homer in the first inning. Eovaldi tried to sneak a cut fastball past him on the first pitch of the at-bat. And it's 1-1.
It's a good place to go with Trout. He likes going the other way. We saw him hit a double to right center last night. He'll lean out there over the plate. He is good enough to pull his hands in, but I think any pitcher knows if you're going to beat him, it's going to be up or in.
1-1. That is a swing and a miss. Does seem like the old Trout is mostly back again. He's playing every day, mostly in center field. He's DH'd a handful of times, but mostly out there in center field. Power has returned. 13 long balls now this year. Still running, stole 5 bases already. And he lifts that into left field. It's just not going to carry. Osuna comes in, he makes the catch. 1 away. Gives us a moment for Baylor, Scott, and White health. Here's Nolan Shonwell. He grounded out in the first inning. And Eovaldi, I'd love to see him do that again. That's low. Shonwell having trouble with the gnats or whatever it is. It seems to be bugging guys around the plate. Shanoel has hit into 8 double plays this year, tied for most in the American League, so he's a good candidate. Well, this is in the air, short left field, going out Duran, and he tracks that down. What a play by Ezekiel Duran. Great reaction, immediately got the good read off the bat, and that's a sterling effort.
I mean, Shanoel got blown up here. This is a soft serve effort for a single. Zeke was on it from the word go. I mean, that's tracking down a baseball.
That's a great play. Just tremendous reaction to that. And Soler now, he'll hit that one foul over the right side. I don't particularly understand the science of the way they measure the jumps that guys get, and usually reserved for the outfielders. They measure their route efficiencies, their jumps, all that sort of stuff. The jump on that as a shortstop to get to that ball, that was just brilliant. 0-2 on Soler.
Those are the ones that are so frustrating. You know, you're first and second with one out if he doesn't come up with it. Yeah, it's a really big defensive play.
Yeah. We're talking about middle of the order after the lead man reached in the inning. 0-2, and that is down low. Runner going, late jump, and the throw down to second base. They got him. Neto gunned down by a mile, and there might have been a little miscommunication there on the Angels' part, as that one ends the inning. They'll check upstairs, but I don't think they're going to find much on that. Yeah, they find nothing. Hey, that's a beauty. A little defense in the third inning for the Rangers. Ezekiel Duran, brilliant read, great reaction to go get that one. And then the caught stealing to end the inning. It's the little things, Murph. That's how you win ball games.
Well, come check out the Silver Boot Series presented by TXU Energy. It returns to Globe Life Field on Monday. Get your tickets at Rangers.com.
Yeah, a 4-game series too. Houston in town. That should be fun. Hope everybody gets out. School's out, so what better way to celebrate than coming out to the yard, taking a ball game, especially a big rivalry game like that. So hope to see you out there Monday through Thursday against Houston. The last thing we want is the opposing team's fans to come up and make more noise as Carter swings through the changeup, and it's 1-2. It'll be Carter, Duran, and Foscue. Gorgeous night here in Southern California. The 1-2 pitch, and that's low. It was 68 degrees at game time, and when the first pitch was delivered, the wind was blowing out a little bit. It has calmed down quite a bit. Fairly common as the evening settles in. It's harder for these hitters to get a lot of length on a fly ball. Chopper down to first. Shanoel shovels it to Urena, and they get Carter to start this fourth inning, one away. And here comes Duran. Rangers got their run in the second inning on the Duran sacrifice fly. He's done it defensively. He's done it with the bat tonight. And he was swinging for all of it right there.
Big swing for him. By the way, follow up on that hard hit rate. We showed you that statistic of Urena is limiting hard hit. Rangers, one of the best teams in baseball. 54.5% hard hit rate for the Rangers tonight.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's favored the bats. I will say this about Urania, though. He seems pretty cool. 22 years old, man. He does not seem like anything really bugs him. Very much in control of what he wants to do.
And other than a few walks where it's been some uncompetitive pitches, I mean, he has been around the zone. His stuff has been really good. It's interesting if you look at his changeup too. Like, it seems like it does two different things. One fades off the plate like a two-seam fastball. Another just simply drops out of the strike zone. Some of them do a little bit of both. I think the average one, though, I think compared to the average changeup, he gets 2.5 inches of extra fade, extra run, whatever you want to call it, away from the left-handed hitter.
You see right there how it ranks in Major League Baseball. He gets a ton of chase on it. That time called by Duran. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And the one that he threw to Berger, it was nasty to end last inning.
Yeah, the bottom dropped out on that one for sure. Just dove at the end, the 2-2, and that's fouled back. Well, this started as one of those road trips you felt like could be really important for the Rangers. Against 3 teams that have struggled to begin the year. Duran bounces that one weakly foul. With a win tonight, if the Rangers can fashion a comeback and figure out a way to win this thing, they would be .500 on the road. 4 wins, 4 losses, with a final game tomorrow night. I think they're probably hoping for a little better than that, but right now, listen, they've got to get this one to give themselves a chance to come home with a winning record on this roadie. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here he comes. And Duran really doing a nice job here battling. Urania hasn't had a ton of those really lengthy battles. Been able to keep that pitch count in check. Zeke's about to see a 9th pitch. Here it comes, and that's high. It's a full count. Well, so far, you could argue this might be the best at bat the Rangers have had tonight. But it ends in a strikeout on the 10th pitch. 2 away in the 4th.
Urania just decides to get nasty, and similar movement to what we've seen with the changeup. Hard down and in at 99. That's a well-placed pitch. I mean, I guess if you're Zeke, you tip your hat. Urania did everything that he could.
So 2 down, nobody on for Justin Foscue. He flew out to right field earlier. And he takes strike 1. Justin batting 8th tonight. And he's done a nice job taking over at second base. That's a foul ball. 0-2. Foscue, former first-round draft pick. And getting for the first time, perhaps a real sustained opportunity. The 2-strike pitch, he swings and misses, and that strikeout completes a 1-2-3 4th inning. Last of the 4th coming down here in Anaheim, and a 1-run game.
Well, Well, David Murph mentioned how Nathan Eovaldi's signature pitch is his splitter, but that alone can only take him so far. At the beginning of the season, he said he got predictable for some teams because that was the only pitch that was working for him. But as you can see here with our Ford leaderboard, since April 29th, he's been best in Major League Baseball in several, or top of Major League Baseball, second, and fourth in several categories. He said the last couple of outings, he's had more weapons. His curveball has been good. He went to his cutter a lot against Houston. Higgy said he has answers now in every situation, which is exactly what he wants from him in a catcher, and it's allowed his splitter to play even better.
Now the four-seamer was getting hit hard earlier in the season, so.
Well, Soler bounces one quickly down to third, where we can announce the defensive change as Duran is moved to third base, makes the play there. Young out of the game, and Michael Hellman takes over at shortstop. So that was interesting between innings. That move made by Skip Schumacher. And perhaps we'll get an announcement later on about why the move was made, if that was indeed because of something going on with Young, or who knows? I mean, it's a prerogative. We'll find out.
And I guess the obvious assumption, if you're going to look toward a play that could have aggravated something, it's the dive down the line that we saw last inning.
So 1 out. And the 1-strike pitch. Uh-oh. Came in and got Adele. He gets hit a lot. That's the 7th time this year he's been hit by a pitch. And he'll head to first.
Looks like a fastball that was running in on his hands. And Adele, you mentioned he's got some armor on that left arm, left hand. Gets hit enough to where he knows he needs some protective gear. Gets hit right on the pad that's protecting his hand.
He is on now, and Meckler will be the hitter. So now more stuff to strap on. Meckler 0 for 1 with that ground out to start the second inning. And he takes a high strike. Left shoulder soreness for Josh Young. So we just got the announcement over the in-house PA. That one in the dirt. 1-1. That's pretty quick. By the way, we don't always get those updates that quickly, but left shoulder soreness. So more than likely on that dive.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get a little pinch in there, just an aggravation, whether it's a AC joint type of thing. I'm sure the Rangers are on it, checking it out.
1-1, and there's a swing and a miss. Good splitter. Has Eovaldi ahead 1-2 on Wade Meckler. Only 2 strikeouts so far tonight for Evo. A 2-1 ball game. Angels have only the 2 hits. And that's a ground ball just past a diving Foscue and out into right field. Headed to third base, Adele. And Meckler, the Angels' 3rd hit of the night, has set them up well now in this 4th inning. 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
Well, Evo threw the pitch that he wanted close to the location that he wanted. Meckler just stayed inside of it enough to get it toward the middle of the field, past the diving Foscue. We were hoping for a little bit more of a rollover for the double play ball.
So Oswald Peraza will be the batter. And Meckler over there at first base, and that's, you know, listen, that's a guy you need to keep an eye on. You want to keep him there. Peraza swings through strike 1. Keep that double play in order. A chance to get out of this inning. 0-2. Peraza walked in the second inning. He doesn't do that all that often. It was only the 9th time this year that he's walked. That's 9 walks against 34 strikeouts. And the Angels are a team that will swing and miss. Good lead, and there is a swing and a miss. Peraza strikes out, 2 away.
It went to his bread and butter when he needed the strikeout. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. Just a masterful job of using the splitter.
So 2 away. Rivera will be the batter. Boy, the Tarps off group tonight here in Anaheim. I looked about an inning or so ago out there. I thought, oh, it's not that big a group, but it is multiplying by the inning out there. I do think they're sort of missing the point, this group, the last 2 nights. They're very vocal, but in a rather negative sense. And the whole Tarps off vibe that started in St. Louis was one really of encouragement and fun and excitement. You would think that Artie Moreno had traded Luka Doncic the way this group has been chanting out there, or that he's John Fisher, the owner of the Athletics. Like, they've taken the messages that we've seen over the last couple of years to those 2 guys, and that's what they've been working on. It's like they need their own material.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's almost like they think that he let one of the premier players in baseball sign with the crosstown rival or something.
You don't always have control of that. And by the way, he did bring him here for 6 years along with Mike Trout. And not only did they not get to the postseason as a tandem, they never had so much as a winning record. High pop-up, back of second. Foscue makes the catch, and the inning is done. We've played 4. Eovaldi with 3 strikeouts, the most recent one of Oswald Peraza in the 4th inning. And it remains a 2-1 ball game.
Back for a chance to win $75K.
Welcome to Jock in the Box.
Rangers baseball on RSN is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers. And by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas. At the Big A here in Anaheim. 2-1 the score. So Rangers, I think, somewhat accustomed to this low-scoring game. Means you're always in it. Now they need to get something going here against Urania. He's been really good. The right-hander fires one in there. Strike 1 to Higashioka. This will complete the 2nd time through the order. And then Urania will see how much they trust him to face the Rangers a 3rd time. And Higgy comes up empty. 0-2. Look how deep the outfield is playing Higashioka here. And you would think Higgy's like a 40-homer guy, the way the outfield's set up. We know he has pop, but goodness me.
I guess
you're way back there.
And you're talking about a guy that doesn't run well, so I guess you don't mind if he bloops a single in front of you, but I guess that's kind of to your point. You would think that you want to take away that possible little blooper.
That's strike 3 called, and Higashioka goes down looking. And we'll scooch over here a moment for Globe Life.
I do think about my family's future. That's what I trust Globe Life. They've been helping families for more than 125 years. Globe Life. Make tomorrow better.
There's a little Elvis Andrus just kind of make today better.
Yeah.
There's just something about him. Urania fires a changeup in there for a strike. He has punched out 3 straight now and 4 out of the last 5 hitters. And Jock will step out a moment. Use his one timeout.
Early observations for Urania. The first time I've ever really seen him throw. I'm surprised when I look him up and I see that he has a 4.67 career minor league ERA. But I think it is because he had 223 walks in, I lost the innings, 362 and a third innings.
I want to say it was like over 7.5 walks per 9.
Yeah.
A liner out to first, and Shonowell makes the catch, and just like that, 2 gone in the 5th. More hard contact.
Yeah, more hard contact. Well, it's 80, but it is a line drive. Just got it off the end of the bat. Shonowell showing that massive vertical. He is, by the way, the best fielder on the Angels when talking about outs above average. Angels in the bottom 5 in defense, but he's been their guy.
Well, Brandon Nimmo hits that ball hard out to right center field, and that one is off the wall. Into second base, Nimmo with a 2-out double. Joe Adell just about made the most spectacular catch you'd ever see, but instead it turns into a double.
I couldn't quite tell how hard he hit it. I was about to say get up. It does have an exit velocity of 106. You watch Adell tracking that thing. That would have been an amazing play laying out on the warning track. Trout is right there to keep Nimmo at a double.
Well, that's one where you almost fear for Adell's health, the way he was going at that wall. So now, Michael Hellman getting his first at bat of the night. And Hellman, who just entered the game defensively at shortstop when Josh Young was removed from the game. Soreness in his left shoulder. Hellman watches it low. 2-0.
Hellman was so big in these situations down the stretch last year. Runners in scoring position, it seemed like he was automatic when he came up. So uncharacteristic. He comes in the ball game in the 3-hole, trying to drive in Brandon Nimmo.
A base hit here would tie the game. 3-0. So going back to your observation about Urania in the minor leagues and the walks, that's the one thing that I'm sure gives the Angels some pause, right? Is the concern that that's how games could get away from him. His 3-0 here, and Hellman is taking a strike. Well, Nimmo, the 2-out double. Rangers with 2 outs have been pretty good lately. Time called, and Hellman will back out. Chevy under the hood. How about the 2-strike, or rather 2-out hitting? Well, since May 15th, at .333 average best, getting on base, slugging, .899 OPS with 2 outs. Wow. That's outside, ball 4. So Hellman draws the 2-out walk. And the inning continues. He gets Osuna up there. We were talking about him last time he came up with runners on, how Skip Schumacher really likes this look. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And Nimmo, you see him walking off second, tying run in his back pocket. And there's ball 1 to Osuna.
Yeah, really important for Nimmo to get a good secondary here. 2 outs, crack to the bat, you're off and running. Last time Osuna hit a ball hard right at
Bouncer left side in the hole. Neto on the backhand throw to first, not in time, and everybody is safe again. And the bases are loaded, just like Osuna did in the third inning. Came up with 2 men on, a base hit, loaded the bases, but they still needed another hit to get a run in.
And somewhat of a replay from Osuna's first at bat, where Neto went the other direction to his left, got rid of the ball quickly. But once again, this throw does not reach Shawnuel on the bag. It pulls him off.
So Osuna, 2 hits yesterday, 3 hits tonight. And Urena needs a new baseball. So Berger gets another opportunity. Berger struck out with the bases loaded his last time up. But he knows now exactly how Urena went after him in that spot. And we'll see if that knowledge can help him. A guy who's done a really good job in these spots getting runs home. It's the Rangers' first experience with Urena. Whoa, comes way in, almost got him. Ball 1 on Berger. Nimmo, Hellman, Osuna, third to first. The 1-0. And that is ball 2. And this is what's happening with Urena. He keeps falling behind hitters. An advantage count for Berger. 2-1.
I don't necessarily mind that right there. That's tough, but if you want to look for changeup, you can, but look for that heater. Don't be late. And if you swing and miss through a changeup and you guess wrong, that's fine. You got another pitch coming right here. Just back it up a little bit. I think right center is the right approach.
I don't know. Let's see what he's thinking here. 2-1. And a bouncer over third. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So back-to-back changeups. Problem is you can't really sit changeup, right? With any, even a guy who's great with the changeup. You just, that's a real recipe for trouble. Especially with 2 strikes now.
Yeah, for sure not with 2 strikes.
Gotta cover the fastball here and react to that changeup if you can. 2-2. And that's off the plate. It's a full count. So we'll have the fire drill here. Everybody will be on the move.
With the way that he's been throwing, you can't assume this is going to be a strike. It's an easy thing for a hitter to do.
Runners lead. There they go. The 3-2 and a swing and a miss. The bat goes flying. And an unseemly end to another potentially prosperous inning. Urena strands the bases loaded for the second time in 3 frames, and it remains 2-1.
Palisade for $429 a month. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Well, we did tell you that the Rangers and Astros are going to go at it in the Silver Boot Series on Monday. What we didn't tell you is the first 10,000 fans will receive an All for Texas Hockey Night jersey presented by TXU Energy. Get your tickets at Rangers.com. Still plenty available.
Okay, well, Eovaldi back to work. Bottom of the 5th inning. Faces the 9th place hitter Donovan Walton and back up around again with Neto and Trout. 2-1 the score as Eovaldi battles tonight. He gave up the 2-run homer to Mike Trout in the 1st inning. And he's off the plate here, 1-1. A lot of conversation down there with Urena during the inning break. He came off the field and was maybe a little frustrated with the way that inning went, even though he got out of it. But I think it was also the end of his evening. Got a lot of congratulations and whatnot. Brian Zephyr warming in the bullpen, so the right-hander will likely come on for the Angels. That's low. 2-2 on Wolf. After the inning, hey, way to go, way to go. Ah!
Didn't even give up a run.
Yeah. Twice he got out of a bases loaded spot tonight.
Yeah,
but I guess the frustration is that he loaded the bases.
Or the walk, I guess. Like nothing he really could have done about the Osuna infield single. Maybe he's frustrated himself that he went to a full count with Berger. Who knows?
3-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Walton strikes out. And one away in the 5th inning. It's just the 4th strikeout tonight for Eovaldi.
Yeah, 2nd strikeout on the splitty. This one's nasty. This is what's tough for a hitter. It looked like it started on the inside corner. Your eyes see that baseball in the inside corner. Automatically, you probably think fastball.
Zach Neto now. And he goes after the first pitch. Hits this one down the line. That drops in fair ball. And then rolls around in that corner. Neto to second base with a 1-out double.
Well, Neto continues his hot hitting ways versus the Rangers. He's been on base all 3 times tonight. Stays inside of this one. Good job by Osuna tracking it down that tricky left field corner.
Now those rounded corners, right? There are several of them that can be tough. You've played them. How does this one stack up with like Kansas City and some others?
Kansas City's okay. This one, I wouldn't say this is the worst. Fenway in right field is the worst. This is probably second. Not to mention, I've had a few balls playing right field here that this is one of those areas where if the ball seems to go foul down the right field line, it always fades back toward the field. That happens in most ballparks.
High pop-up, short right field, and Neto comes in to make the catch. 2 gone. And we'll give a moment here for Kia. Shonowell's 0 for 2. It's grounded out to short, popped out to short. Called a pop out or a soft line out. I don't know how to look at it, but it was a really nifty play made by Duran in the inning. Out into short left field and ranged out there quickly to make the play. So Shonowell 0 for 2. And he will take strike 1. Well, for Eovaldi, this will only be his 70th pitch of the night. Part of that is just the 4 strikeouts. Hasn't invested in really long at bats. There's a breaking ball, and they call it a ball. Challenged though by Higashioka, and I love the challenge. Because from where I'm sitting, I thought that was a strike, but who knows? Let's see. Hey, it was. So a great challenge by Higashioka. Get that one overturned. 0-2 the count. Neto, the runner at second. And that is lined over first, and that is a fair ball. Neto scores easily. Into second base, Shonowell. And he is rather slow getting there. He takes the RBI double. It's 3-1 Angels.
Good piece of hitting from Shonowell. I guess you hate seeing it. It's on an 0-2 count. You got plenty of ways to get a hitter out. Looks like a splitty that is left up on the inside part of the strike zone. That pitch has been so valuable, just doesn't locate it in that situation.
He's out there for Soler now. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Well, that is a big hit by Shonowell. Right after Urania got his team out of a bases loaded spot to come back and then score a run. That's kind of it's a double whammy. I don't know if that's an official baseball term or not. That's maybe fine, but it seemed like a double whammy to me.
All right, I see where you're going.
It certainly wasn't a single whammy. Shonowell out there hoping that he could add another one. Soler chops one slowly left side. Duran charges in, throws over to first in time. They get Soler, and the inning is done. The Angels pick up a run in the inning, however, and a big one at that. Well, that looks like fun. Unfortunately, the Rangers trailing here 3-1.
Well, 22-year-old Walbert Urania went 5 strong, and he was good tonight. First career appearance versus the Rangers. He had that changeup working. He gave up harder contact than he usually does, but nevertheless, the Rangers only scored 1 run against him. They had 5 hits, 16 swings and misses. He did rack up 3 walks. Rangers were not able to take advantage. He was pretty good in his 93 pitches tonight.
Well, good news for the Rangers. They'll get somebody else here. Zephyr takes over in the 6th inning.
Zephyr with a 4.63 ERA in 23 1/3 innings. This will be his 19th game.
Carter fouls off that breaking ball, and the count 0-2. Well, the nice thing about these low scoring games is you're always in it. The problem is tonight the Rangers just 1 run on 5 hits. They've had opportunities. One gets away, and it's 1-2. And just a added aggravation with the offense when they struggle in those spots. I mean, let's say it 5 times tonight. Looking for that big hit. Normally, when there's somebody on base, that's the piece that has been so slow in coming. You know, you get the occasional big hit with nobody on base, or maybe one guy on base, but doggone it, and they've got a couple out there and a chance to really do something. It seems like that's when it gets the hardest. Zephyr just off the plate.
Well, then you could go with the reverse thinking. If they're not going to get the big hit, if they're not going to single a team to death, well, let's get a bloop and a blast. But now with the bullpen in the game for the Angels, Rangers haven't really slugged versus opposing relievers. They just have 12 homers this year against bullpen arms, and that's amongst the lowest in baseball.
3-2 pitch, and Carter fouls that off. So he'll force Zephyr into an 8th pitch of this at bat. Carter 0 for 2 so far today. Well, there you go. This Angels bullpen has not been good. 5.50 ERA, and a team that brings an 18-34 record into the game. It might stand to reason they've had trouble. That's lined out to center. Trout went back, now comes in. He makes the adjustment, and the catch, 1 away. That looked adventurous there for a moment.
We have seen a little bit of this series. Evan Carter had you see the ball reaches its peak and then fades toward left field.
He started in, went back, and then had to come back in again. Balls are tough, right? The ones that hit right at you.
Yeah. Gotta stay in an athletic position in a place where you can move your feet.
Duran bounces one to shortstop, and this time Neto throws him out. So 2 gone in the 6th inning. It'll bring up Justin Foscue, hitless in 2 tries so far tonight. The teams are even in the hit column, 5 apiece. But the Angels had the 1 hit by Trout that went over the wall. And then in the 5th inning, a couple of doubles. Zephyr finds inside corner there for a strike. Here it comes, and that's outside. So 1-1. That's strike 2. You hope that in the case of Foscue that, you know, he's feeling some confidence. He did have that moment yesterday where he was picked off first base, 2nd time on this road trip where he was picked off first, and then he talked about it after the game, just felt awful about it, as you would expect. And it was a big play, an important juncture of the game. 1-2. And he takes strike 3. You just don't want that to affect his confidence at the plate. He'd been really good there. But 0 for 3 so far here tonight as Zephyr authors a scoreless 6th. It remains 3-1.
Message.
All right, back here in Los Angeles, the Griffith Park Observatory looking over the LA Basin. Famous landmark here in Los Angeles. And for obvious reasons, what spectacular views. You know, if somebody was creative enough, they might even use that location, because it seems to me like the perfect one. You know, for a scene in a movie as an example, or maybe popular television show or something. If we knew somebody in Hollywood, we could pass on that kind of a tip. It's the sort of stuff, a service we'd like to provide a little extra on RSN. There's the first pitch here. This is off the plate. Ball 1 on Joe Adell. Adell is struck out swinging. He's been hit by a pitch. And there's a ground ball, 3rd base. Duran is there, and he fires it across in time to get Adell. Yeah, I was talking to Zeke before the ball game today, and he was going down the list of 40 movies where they had at least one scene at Griffith Observatory, and going down some of his favorites. But he mentioned to me that a recent popular show called The Gentleman had a couple of really good rendezvous scenes up there as well. Daytime scenes. I like the nighttime scenes there. That's me.
I haven't even heard of the show.
The Gentleman?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just not with it.
I'll catch you up on the old pop culture.
I guess the one that jumps out to me, if I could think of one movie, it was Yes Man with Jim Carrey.
All the classics for you.
all the classics. Just thinking of Griffith Observatory and Jim Carrey being himself. The classics.
Oh, man.
Was The Gentleman a classic?
No. No, it's just a recently popular show that was on one of the services, the streaming services.
It's not an instant classic. Then.
Oh, no, not an instant classic. Meckler 1 for 2. Whereas, quite honestly, any Jim Carrey was pretty much a classic immediately. The 1-2. And there's a swing and a miss, a strikeout of Meckler. What is your favorite Jim Carrey?
Oh, gosh. I feel like I have to go with Ace Ventura. Like, it's just, like, if you're talking about that guy, you just think zany, crazy, off the wall, and what is crazier?
Is kind of peak Jim Carrey.
Who is crazier than Ace Ventura?
Broken bat roller third base. Duran's been busy. Whoa, that one goes high and off the facing in front of the Rangers dugout. Travis Jankowski almost took that shrapnel. That errant throw. Anyway, that's an E5 on Duran. Raza is aboard with 2 out.
Zeke has a good arm. He shows it off right here. You never know if, like, mentally in the infield, if just that bat flying by you just throws off your just mental well-being for 1 minute, even though it wasn't close.
Right. It was almost one of those where I was like, I don't even know if he really registered it. Here's Rivero now. And Eovaldi gets him to lift it into right field. Long run for Nemo, and that one is foul. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, though. I think when you think of peak Jim Carrey and his absolute wackiest, that would be it. But I do like Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dumb and Dumber, that's probably more of the signature, like Jim Carrey. Like, if most people are probably, I don't know, what do you think of Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber? Like, do you think the majority of people are going to say which one?
Yeah, I think that Dumb and Dumber has just had a longer shelf life and reached probably a wider audience. Don't you think?
I think so.
I don't know what that means, but I think that's how it's played out.
It's also a really relevant movie as it pertains to this building, because when we would play here on a weekend and have a Sunday day game, when we showed up to the ballpark on Sunday, you know what movie we would always be playing? Dumb and Dumber.
Really? In the clubhouse?
Yeah, I don't know if that's still the case.
2-strike pitch popped up back of second. Foscue is there, and the inning is done, so the error doesn't end up mattering much. And we go to the 7th inning. Yeah, that's more of the scene that you'll get in The Gentleman out at Griffith Observatory. 3-1 the score. 3-1, 7th inning. Rangers still have time, but not a lot of it. They've got to get after it here with the bats. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Looks like Vaughn Grissom has checked in the game in right field. Not sure what that's about. It might be that Adele on that tumble out on the warning track, what was that, 2 innings ago. Maybe that was enough to knock him out, so Grissom takes over out there. First pitch to Higashioka, fouled away. Strike 1. Pardon me, at first base. Shonaway. Yeah, there's Grissom. Okay. 1 strike pitch, and that ball is hit high in the air out to center field. That takes Trout back to the wall. It is gone! Just over the fence. Trout gave that a pretty good effort. And Higgy has once again homered against the Angels. A solo blast makes it a 1-run game. Boy, those uniforms.
Loves the Southern California weather and these ballparks out here. Good swing from Higgy. When he gets extended to the pull side, he has got some good pop. He picked the right part of the ballpark. You saw Trout take off, and you knew this ball had a chance.
So Trout can only watch, and that is it for Zephyr John. Taylor Saucedo had been warming up. He'll be coming in for the Angels in a 1-run game.
The bundle better. It feels good to Geico.
So Saucedo, new man on the scene for the Angels in this 7th inning. Rangers have cut the deficit to 1. And the lefty making his 4th appearance of the year. Rangers have gone to the bench, and Jansen hitting right now for Jack Peterson, and was almost struck by the pitch. Just got out of the way.
I guess you're going with the hot hand here. Could go with Haggerty, could go with McCutchen, but Jansen did hit a homer off of a lefty late in the ball game last night.
(2-0). I thought you were intimating that the catcher position is the hot position at the plate because Higgy just homered a moment ago. So let's go. All the catchers. Let's go. Hit. 2-1. Yeah, that's outside. He does have thump in that bat.
Oh, here's the homer from last night. Fastball right down the middle. Pretty much knew this one right off the bat.
A full count now as Saucedo gets him to swing and miss at that one. Three to 2 the score. Nobody out in the 7th inning. And the payoff. Jansen swings and misses way out in front of the changeup. 1 away.
You give Saucedo credit for battling back. Jansen was in an advantageous count. Saucedo fought back. Ends up with a strikeout.
So here's Nimmo. Doubled his last time up. Gets underneath one here. High in the air to center. Trout apparently has room and he makes the catch. All right. What are they talking about at Progressive?
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. New customers could save hundreds by bundling their auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. See how easy it is at Progressive.com.
Michael Hellman. 2 rounds, nobody on. Saucedo. That's to foul that one back. And a 7th inning run on a homer by Higashioka. And it's where the Rangers have done most of their good work this year, has been late against opposing bullpens, and it is an Angels pen that's had plenty of trouble. Down low, 1-1. Meanwhile, if Hellman could get on, Osuna waits on deck, and he's 3 for 3. How about that? 14 home lead losses for the Angels, and that's how they get to where they are this year. It's been a struggle at 18-34, the worst record going, even with a win last night over the Rangers. Kurt Suzuki in his first year managing, what a tough spot. He got a 1-year deal. That was a strike. It seems like the Angels are in this precarious spot where they're not sure exactly to what they want to commit. Perry Manassian is in the last year of his 6-year deal as the guy in charge of the whole scene. 2-2, and that's down the right side, heading fair and down and into the corner. And Hellman sprinting into second will drop anchor there with a double. Another 2-out extra base hit for the Rangers.
Well, you talk about the big hit. I know a lot of times it's the big hit that you want with the runner on base to drive in a run, but you've got to find a guy to get it started. And this a big swing for Hellman, just pushing it the other way. It's fading down the right field line, and he is into second.
Okay, so that is a big hit, and the Rangers call back Osuna, and Andrew McCutchen will hit for him. So they'll use the right-hander, the veteran, against this lefty. Osuna's night ends a 3 for 3 night at the plate for him. Oh, and after confab on the mound a moment ago, the whole team had gone out there. They'll have another meeting. Chase Silseth had been warming of the bullpen, and there's the signal. So he's coming in. Suzuki makes the move. Saucedo did face the 3 minimum hitters, and Silseth will come on to face McCutchen. We'll see if Skip Schumacher counters with anything else.
Love your fandom in-store or online at rallyhouse.com.
A couple of moves in the inning, and Chase Silseth ends up being the man on the mound, 26-year-old right-hander.
Well, if you look at the 17 innings and you also look at the 13 walks, the ERA is good, but the 13 walks would indicate that maybe he doesn't spot up as well as you would like a late inning reliever to do. So maybe he can lay one down the middle to Kutch. We can see some hard contact that finds some outfield grass.
He's got the tying run. Hellman, good speed out at second. And there's a first pitch strike from Silseth to McCutchen. Now, maybe Skip Schumacher being a little wily and clever here, because Silseth, he's a reverse split guy. Right-handed hitters have been crushing him this year. That's low. He's handled lefties quite well. Silseth yielding a 161 average to lefties. Righties hitting 300 off him. 9 for 30. McCutchen, the 39-year-old veteran, waiting on a 1-1. Here he comes. And that just missed, and then a challenge as Rivero taps the helmet. And we have an ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. Let's see. Ooh. Tell you what, that's a pretty good read right there by Rivero. Well, the call overturned. It's 1-2 now. Really flips the count now in favor of Silseth. Here it is. And that's strike 3 call. McCutchen knew it. And he goes back to the dugout. The inning is over. The Rangers leave a man, but let's not lose track of the fact the Rangers get back in it with a bat of Kyle Higashioka. A big home run right over the left center wall, and it's 3-2.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
We have heard time and time again this season the impact that Brandon Nimmo has had on some of the younger players on this Rangers roster. And for Skip Schumacher, the guy that did that for him was actually Angels assistant hitting coach Don Mabry. They overlapped as players in St. Louis. Skip was new to the big leagues, and Mabry had already been there for over 10 years. Skip said, "I didn't even know what time I was supposed to get to the ballpark in the morning, and Mabry taught me all of that." Skip later brought him onto his staff in Miami just because of the impact that he had on him as a player then. And it's just a reminder that you don't need a title to be a coach, whether it be Mabry then or Brandon Nimmo now.
Yeah, it's cool to hear a guy like Mabry's name because, you know, I remember him as a major league player, but, you know, he's a guy that, you know, type of guy that kind of comes and goes. So to hear his impact on a guy that's now a big league manager and leading the charge for this Rangers team, it's just indicates an amount of leadership. I love the way that Skip said in that same interview, yeah, like, I didn't know that I was supposed to hit early all the time. Like, he seemed like he showed him the way in a variety of ways.
Yeah, that was kind of the funnier part of the whole exchange, right? He's like, well, I didn't know you were supposed to do the early hitting like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like every time.
But I'm with him. Like, why? Like, there might have been a pretty good instinct to question that as Walton fouls that one away. What's funny about that too is Nimmo's kind of the other side of that. Nimmo's always one of the last guys to get to the ballpark. He's got a very stringent routine, but it doesn't involve getting real hot, let's say at 3 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon. There's a swing and a miss. Walton strikes out. 1 away.
Backdoor cutter. Walton tries to stay with it, but late movement, top of the zone, gets a little bit of chase. Yeah, it was cool to read just Nemo's story and how everything with him is intentional. You know, we saw him start a little later in spring training, and it was because the year of the lockout, spring training went a little. They didn't. The hitters didn't get quite the amount of at bats. They started later. He's like, well, wait, I had a shorter spring training, but I still had a good year. Like, I don't need all those spring training at bats, or just the fact that he knows once he gets hot, he doesn't want to do it twice.
I don't want to cool down.
Yeah, so you get hot once later in the day, that builds you up to the game, and that is your one time instead of kind of going up and down in your pregame routine and having less energy for the game.
Yeah, especially if you're going to play 150, 160 games a year. One is in there for strike 2 and 1 on Neto. So Eovaldi continuing to work in the 7th inning. He's allowed just the 3 runs. He kept the Rangers right in at the 2-1 pitch, and Neto almost got him. Right near the hands. It's a Saturday night in Los Angeles. The Rangers in pretty serious need of a comeback in these late innings. A 3-1, and that is a full count now. That one fouled down, and get Neto.
Jackson like he got a piece of it.
I was more worried about Higgy, but I guess it got Neto. Defensively, by the way, the Rangers have a new left fielder. McCutchen stays in the game after hitting a moment ago. So Osuna out. It's McCutchen, Carter, and Nemo left to right. The payoff on the way. A high pop-up back of second. Foscue drifting away out there, and he's got it. 2 away. Brings up Mike Trout. Well, you know, you get so wound up in the outcome of each at bat or inning on your way to either a win or a loss. Sometimes you lose track of the fact you're watching one of the great hitters of an era in Trout against one of the great pitchers, certainly one of the greatest big game pitchers in Nathan Eovaldi. And it's a great matchup. 7th inning in a 1-run game. And Trout pulls that in the air, deep out to left. But McCutchen is there, and the former MVP makes the catch and left. Wow, that was fun. A lot of superstars in that little exchange. And Eovaldi is through 7 innings tonight. It remains a 3-2 game.
Come one, come y'all.
All right, what's on tap? Brought to you by St. Arnold Lawnmower, a beer for everyone. Yeah, there you go, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where folks go looking for all the superstars. Like you could see, I mean, any pop star, movie star, John Quigley Reynolds, they're all there. And Gene Autry, he's the only one with how many stars? Multiple stars, Mike. Gene Autry on the Walk of Fame.
3?
5 stars, Gene Autry. Tying in with the Angels franchise. Great entertainer. As the pitch on the way to Berger here, and Fermin misses off the plate.
I didn't know anybody had more than one.
I didn't either. It never occurred to me that anybody would. Why? Being inducted 5 times in the same Walk of Fame. There's a swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. It's been a tough night for Berger. His last 2 at-bats. He has stranded the bases loaded in both of them with a strikeout. So you know, for better or for worse, probably amped up to do something in this 8th inning. Fermin at the belt, and the slider. Did he go? Ooh. Maybe a generous call right there by John Libka, our first base umpire. Let's see.
I think he held up. It didn't look like it from the front angle.
I'm with you. So 2-2, and that's off the plate. Jose Fermin, 24 years old. And the payoff came in on Berger. And Jake just missed the fat part of the bat. A fly ball into left field. Michael makes the catch, 1 away. So that Hollywood Walk of Fame, there are a number of different categories that allow you to be inducted, I guess, if you will. Like 5 categories. And that's how a guy like Gene Autry gets. Oh, there's music, there's movies, there's TV. So, yeah. And, Gene Autry was such a superstar entertainer back in the day where guys crossed over everything. 1-1 the count. It's funny to think back. I mean, when I was little anyway, there was still remnants of that kind of a culture. Guys like Bob Hope, right? You could find anywhere doing anything. A little conversation here is count goes to 1-1 on Evan Carter, and Rivero goes out there. Something of concern they have with Evan. He's 0 for 3 today.
Yeah, I guess I would ask you, if you were under consideration for being on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and like if we were to consider your triple threat skills, your singing, your dancing, your acting, which of those is the strongest?
Well, singing and dancing, 1 for 2 there. What was the other one you gave me? I guess acting.
Yeah, acting for sure. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, it would have to be the 2-1. Bouncer foul. Are you? I mean, I would argue that there's a chance that I could sing, but no one will ever know.
Okay.
Because it would only happen in very private moments for me, in the shower or in my car. Those are the 2 places where you might catch me singing.
For sure.
I'm not singing in front of other humans. 2-2. And here you go. No. Full count. Duran waiting. He would be next in a 1-run game here. Evan has worked the count full once again. Fouls off yet another. It's funny how that moniker has fit him so well. Full count Carter.
Fermin does have a high walk rate, so you see enough pitches, you're bound to see a ball.
3-2, and there it is, ball 4. So Carter is aboard, and he has the tying run with him. He heads down there, and Duran to the plate, hoping to find a way to get him in. A toss over there to first base, and Evan back easily enough. Big right-hander ready again, and the pitch to Duran. That's off the plate. So, your point about the command, Rangers might be able to work Fermin into a bit of a corner in this 8th inning. They've kept it close enough that that opportunity exists now. Fly ball right side, and that one will curl away toward the stands. Zeke has been swinging the bat pretty well. Now, Wednesday we were in Colorado, and he hit an absolute laser out to left field.
It's a nice flat swing right there.
One of 9 hits he's had on this road trip, that home run. He'd take a double here, though, I can assure you. With Carter's speed, that might be enough to get it done. Trying to check that swing up, but could not. Strike 2. You see Zeke doesn't agree, and I think he might have held up.
But the pitch looked like it was in the strike zone anyway, and they were signaling to check that pitch if it hadn't been.
Oh, so they were gonna challenge it anyway.
One more look. Yeah, it looks like it's inside the strike zone.
The 1-2. And a roller into the hole, shortstop. And no play for Neto again. And Duran has the infield hit this time. So now the tying run is at second base.
Third infield single of the night for Texas. They are making Neto work. All 3 infield singles have hit off of his glove, made him show off the range. Good hustle by Zeke getting down the line.
Couple of men on, and Foscue with a chance, and he will take a strike. A little in. Oh, that's pulled foul. Oh, and 2. Jacob Junis. And it looks like Cole Winn. Redding in the bullpen. Winn perhaps already. He's not throwing with much intensity right now. The 0-2, runners going. At least Carter is. It was interesting. Rivero behind the plate. It almost looked like he knew that was coming.
Yeah.
When was he asking Fermin to step off?
I think he was. I think he was either that, tell him to take a look, but he could probably see Carter dancing off a second. I guess there was nothing that really showed that Carter was going to steal there.
Yeah, but he had a hunch.
Yep.
Oh, that one just missed. 2-2 to Foscue, but that tying run now is a wild pitch away at third base, and Carter does have good quick feet. Foscue uses his timeout. Foscue has a 4-game hitting streak going, though he is hitless so far tonight. Maybe he's just been waiting for the right moment. 3-2 now. This is one of the meteor opportunities for the Rangers. Carter at third, Duran at first. The 3-2. There goes Duran. The pitch is up and in. Ball 4, and they're loaded up. So Maddox heading out to the mound. The Rangers have loaded the bases again. They did it in the 3rd inning and stranded all 3. They did it in the 5th inning and left all 3 out there. And now they were the 8th inning in a 1-run game. They have the bases loaded, 1 out. And Kyle Higashioka coming up. What has he done tonight?
Yeah. Last at bat, 7th inning. He gets a fastball, punishes it to left center. Just out of the reach of Mike Trout. Brought the Rangers within 1.
Well, the Maddox conversation is done. And Fermin left out there to figure it out. Fermin got the first man he faced, and he got Berger to fly out to left field, but a walk, an infield hit, and a walk since. And he misses way inside on Higashioka.
Higgy loves the fastball, and he can turn out with the best of them. So you keep laying off that slider. The slider does get a chase rate of 38%.
And there it is. Higashioka watches the strike, 1-1.
It looked like it was right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Fermin sets again, and that one, ooh, a high strike. 1-2 the count. Runners everywhere, and Higashioka strikes out swinging. 2 away.
Nothing but sliders, 4 straight. I think Higgy thought he might get a fastball here. Opens up just a little early.
So it's going to be up to Jansen. And he swings and misses at strike 1. There's a swing and a high fly ball out to left field. Meckler went back, now coming in, and he makes the catch. And doggone it, the Rangers had the bases loaded with 1 out, but a strikeout and a fly out. And the threat goes by the board again. Last of the 8th coming in LA in a 3-2 game.
Only at your Texas Ford dealer.
Let's get to our Baylor Scott and White health game diagnosis. Nathan Eovaldi was big game Nate once again. He went 7 strong, gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 6. You're looking at him. Last out right there, Mike Trout. Although Trout did homer off him earlier in the ball game. 2 first-inning runs for the Angels. Rangers been playing from behind. Cole Winn will now enter the ball game. This will be his 22nd game of the season. 19 innings pitched for him. Just 7 walks. Opponents hitting .260 against him.
He gets the first pitch strike in there to Grissom. Vaughn Grissom going to take over for Shonowell. Shonowell, when he hit that double earlier tonight, did not look like he was moving very well. And he came out of the game shortly after that. This one fouled back to the writer's booth just to our right. Brett Bollinger makes the play back there. Left calf tightness is what they said for Shonowell. And this one lined down to third. Duran is there to make the catch, 1 away.
Zeke staying busy, whether it's shortstop or third base. He's got a lot of action tonight.
Yeah, he was doing a great job at shortstop, moved to third, and then every ball, it seems like, he's put on the infield since then, hit right to him. So now Soler, and he takes a strike.
And Soler is about as pull happy as it gets, so this one might be coming to him also.
Well, he's hit 2 balls down to third tonight already, and he takes inside 1-1. Time running short in tonight's ball game. Wynn has got to make this a scoreless inning and give the Rangers a chance. They have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the ninth. 1-2 the count on Soler. A bit of a struggle recently for Soler. 5 for, I guess, 32 now on this homestand. Two, and that's a little bit up. Full count. Rangers have stranded 11 base runners. Angels have only left 5. And that one is lined up the middle. A base hit. Soler is on. Wynn will have to work around that. There's Joe Adele. Comes to the plate. Tomorrow, these two teams, they will be the Sunday night game of the week. A nationally televised game. Reed Detmer's a left-hander scheduled to throw for the Angels. We're expecting Mackenzie Gore will make the start for the Rangers, although Skip Schumacher wasn't fully ready to announce that today before the ball game. But it would be his turn. So a couple of lefties tomorrow. The 1-0 pitch, that's fouled back. 1-1. So that's tomorrow night, and that game is broadcast to the universe. They'll be watching it on other planets, everywhere in the United States, and around the world. And David Murphy is going to be on the call. Nervous?
I don't know what I'm going to do without you.
You're going to have fun. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it is going to be a good
Working
time.
with Jason Benetti. He's great.
Mark Gubiza in the booth next door.
Gooby. It's going to be fun. Foul away. 2-2. I kind of like the format that they're using. Getting the local analysts in, or the team analysts in the same booth. And then Benetti. Yeah, it's a great idea. So looking forward to watching that tomorrow. 2-2. It's pulled foul.
It is fun to have the occasional 3-man booth. You know, we did it a few years ago back in the day. I think it would be the two of us and Dave Valley. I think the two of us did it one time with Tom Grieve, or a few times with Tom Grieve. So, you know, it's fun just having good conversation, talking baseball.
There's Gooby. Mark Gubizan. And he's been doing these Angels games a long time. Fabulous pitcher. But a much better human. He's just a great guy. You're going to have fun with him. 2-2. Very high. Full count on Adele.
I can't quite figure out who Joe Adele is as a player. Is he the 37 homer guy from last year, or the 680 OPS guy this season?
Well, he shoots that into right field, a base hit. Soler stops at second. Truman aboard for Meckler. I think that's the great question, right? And it's a question I think you probably throw that same kind of question at a lot of guys in the game. That's what makes the guys like Trout, Eovaldi, whatever, the guys who are consistently excellent, so great. That's it for Cole Winn. He leaves responsible for the 2 base runners. Tyler Alexander coming on when we return.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
A 1-run game tonight, bottom of the 8th inning, and beautiful look at the skyline here. The city of the Angels, Los Angeles. We're in Anaheim tonight, and here's Alexander, his 23rd appearance of the season.
Cutter, sinker, changeup, sweeper, 4-seamer for Alexander. He'll use the cutter, sinker, and changeup pretty much equally, about a fourth of the time. Sweeper at 15%, 4-seamer about 8% of the time.
Jose Siri will pinch hit for Meckler. And Alexander gets that first one right in there for strike 1. It's kind of been a weird game tonight. No real sustained rallies or anything like that. This is a big moment. The Rangers very much have a chance to win this, as we have an ABS challenge here by Siri, and it looks like he immediately regrets that decision. Oh, boy. I don't know if anybody's going to bring that up in the clubhouse.
Kangaroo court.
I can find that on some social media websites as well. Well, the best part is he knew it immediately. That look on his face like, oh no. 0-2 the count. And Alexander deals low. Anyway, Alexander, whether he gets a ground ball here for a double play, that would be tremendous, or just whatever. However you get the 2 outs, just get him without giving up a run. And give the team a legit shot in the ninth. The 1-2 pitch. And that's very much up and out.
Yeah, the Angels did add on 2 runs last night in the bottom of the 8th. So trying to keep those insurance runs off the board. Although if they are going to turn 2, Siri does run well. So you're going to need a hard hit ball right at someone.
It's in the air down the right side. Foul. Good play. Fives all around. Balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. And that is in. The runners may be on the move here. No. Foul ball. To our right. Siri being a pest. What about this ABS tweak? If the entire ball is in the zone and you've challenged as a hitter, you get charged a second strike. Here's a 3-2. And that is ball 4. And Siri walks with some attitude. Yesterday we saw the bat flip from McCutchen on ball 4. And this time it's Siri with a little bravado after working that long at bat to get on base and load him up.
It is what Siri tends to do.
Agreed.
Plays with a little flair.
Yeah. Peraza rolls that through the drawn-in infield. That gets a run to the plate. They will send the second runner. Adele. The throw goes to third. The 2-run score. Peraza takes second. And that ball just was hit to the right spot, I guess is all you can say. It wasn't hit that hard, but right through the hole.
I think where Berger was playing, you look so far off the bag that Siri is able to get a big lead, a big secondary, and he scoots. He can really run, so he's able to get into third. Now, naturally, you would think as a left fielder, you come up and you have a shot at him, so the throw goes to third, but unfortunately, Peraza gets in there to second, so no more double play in order.
Rivero, the hitter, and he takes strike one. Is that a big hit right there by Peraza? 5-2. Well, the Rangers really have their work cut out for him. The ball's 2 strikes. Rivero hitless in 3 tries tonight. Field still in. And that's way off the plate. There will be some moments that the Rangers will think back on, review perhaps from this road trip. Moments of frustration, disappointment, or just opportunities missed. But the reality is now they are really bumping up on the reality of a losing road trip through Houston, Colorado, and Anaheim. When they left home, those 3 teams owned the 3 worst records in baseball. And that's not good. Seemed like it might be an opportunity to make some inroads, and nobody in the division has really played all that well during this stretch. It's not like they've really lost ground per se, but it's an opportunity missed more than it is a devastation to your season or a falling out of contention or whatnot. They're a game and a half out. It's just what could have been. This one fouled away.
Well, I think the difficult thing is we saw the Rangers make a run in early September last year, and eventually that run ended. But I think it wasn't the type of baseball they were playing in mid to late September. You were looking back to April and May.
Chopper to third base. Duran will come to the plate. Higashioka tags out the runner, and that is the second out of the inning. So great play. Good read by Duran. Easy out.
Hard hit ground ball. The throw was on the money. Great job by Higgy. Tags out Siri. There's one more look for you. Siri can really run, but Z can really throw. Yeah, but back to the point, you want to take care of business as much as you possibly can. Now, the challenging thing with this road trip, when I did look at the schedule, and we were talking about it during the Arizona series as the team was about to leave to go on the road, I do remember as a player, when you go on a three-city road trip, a lot of times by that third city, you're starting to run out of gas. So unfortunately, that's the hard thing. You want to take care of business against this Angels team who has a bad record, has not played good baseball, but I think it's hard to play well.
Little squiver third base. Duran throws out Walton to win the inning. Well, it has been a grueling trip, and now we go to the 9th inning. There is still time left for the Rangers, but boy, they got to get something going. Nimmo, Hellman, McCutchen coming up.
All for Texas.
Last chance for the Rangers coming up here, and they're going to have to do it tonight against their old teammate, Kirby Yates, taking the hill in the 9th.
Kirby's pitched in 6 games this season. ERA over 5. He throws his four-seamer 57% of the time, and it's only averaging about 90 miles an hour. So you've got a fighting chance there. It's not a guy with overwhelming stuff that's going to blow you away.
Brandon Nimmo leading things off. His job will simply to get on base and give the Rangers a chance to build a little something in this 9th inning. Down 3 runs. Nimmo doubled earlier tonight. He's 1 for 4. And the pitch from Yates finds the inside corner for a strike. Right-hander ready again, and that's fouled over to the left side. So Kirby Yates, now 39 years old, pitching in his 12th big league season. Boy, was he good for the Rangers several years ago. 2024, he was an all-star. Finished the year with a 1.17 ERA. And 33 saves. There's a swing and a miss, and he strikes out Nimmo. 1 away. Spent last year with the Dodgers. Pitched in 50 games last season. Did not have a lot of success with the Dodgers. ERA over 5 last year. And now the Angels. He was an Angel back in 2017 as well. And puts that one in there for a strike on Michael Hellman. Rangers down 3 in the 9th. And a pitch from Yates. A little bit outside. Well, you mentioned the fatigue that can be real at the end of a long trip like this. And 1-2 the count. And it's one thing to have a long road trip, 3 cities. He's kept taking the Rangers further and further west, all the way out here to the coast. It's another thing, too, when their previous road trip was to Detroit and New York. Prior to that, another 3-city road trip. They've had a lot of road work early. Started the season on the road in Philly and in Baltimore. It has been kind of a grueling stretch for them, and it does not get easier. They're not home much at all in June. They got a 3-game homestand with Cleveland and a 6-game homestand with Minnesota and San Diego in June. That's it. 9 home games in the month of June. Bouncer third, and Hellman thrown out 2 away. So now the flip side of that is in the second half, the Rangers are going to be home a lot. But you just hope that you're still, I don't know, upright and not woozy from all this travel in the early portion of the season.
It's just a weird, unbalanced schedule. And I guess there's positives and negatives. I mean, the Rangers haven't had great offensive output at home, so you figure you take advantage of that on the road. Well, I think that's part of it, too, is you get to the 3rd city of a 3-city road trip. If you're winning ball games, that makes it a little bit easier, right? And they had a little bit of momentum coming out of Colorado, which obviously it took a turn in a different direction last night, and that's only continued.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe that series win in Colorado could get them going, especially after a really well-placed off day on Thursday. They needed it. Also dealing with injury, right? No Wyatt Langford, no Corey Seager. Here's a pop-up out into short right field, and that's going to do it. Yeah, boy, the Rangers have come to Anaheim and dropped the first 2 games of this series. A bit of a stunner, to be honest. Tonight they lose it 5-2. Let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap it up for you here in a moment.